Christmas in the Philippines is the longest holiday season than any other country in the world. Unfortunately, this joyful celebration has become synonymous to the rise of crime rate, especially theft and robbery.
Pagka talagang pumasok itong bear months na to, we expect na medyo yung street crimes, di ba? Ano yung street crimes? The robbery, the theft, yan. Medyo umi-spike pataas, no? Kasi inspected, di ba? The people needs money. Ano yung mga pinanlalaban natin dun nga? Yung reinvigorated anti-criminality campaign. Itong holiday season na to, no? We triple down our men on the ground.
There has been some confusion as to the usage of theft and robbery. Theft is defined as any action that involves the taking of any kind of property from another without their knowledge. Theft includes acts such as embezzlement, fraud, shoplifting, looting, and mugging. While robbery is the taking of anything valuable from another person with force or violence. The common kinds of robbery are hold up and stick up.
Pag kami nagreklamo sa istasyon, pinasasamahan natin muna ng pulisyan. Bago namin i-blatter, sinasamahan muna ng pulis. We're doing agad the follow-up operation. Baka nandiyan pa sa area, no? Hindi katulad dati, kinakausap siya, tumatagal, tsaka alis. Ngayon yung baliktad. Pagka nagpunta ka, bago ka namin asikasuhin, papalo upin muna namin, isasama ka namin, pupuntahan natin yung crime scene. Tapos doon, we're doing follow-up operation, investigation on the field na kagad.
In 2010, the National Statistics Office reported a crime rate of 319 per 100,000 population. Crimes against population were at 118,943. Robbery was at 36,121, while theft was at 72,947. Now that it's 2014, what is the present crime rate and volume in the country? And what is the PNP doing to minimize the number of theft and robbery incidents?
The police cannot be everywhere, di ba? That security and safety is a shared responsibility. Kailangan on your own part, meron din kayong dapat gampanan para ma-secure nyo rin yung sarili nyo. Kailangan maging vigilant ka lagi, di ba? Always observative in your area.
What is theft and robbery? How should people protect themselves from these criminal activities? What can they do if they've become a victim? Good evening. You are watching Legal Help Desk on 9TV. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight we'll discuss your legal rights on the subject of theft and robbery, what you need to know about these criminal activities and how to protect yourself against it, especially with the holiday season coming.
Our guests for tonight are Chief Inspector Lerma Tiranya, Public Information Officer of the NCRPO, and Attorney Frederick Lu, Managing Partner of Lu, Mamangun, and Huco Law Office. Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Chief Inspector Tiranya and Attorney Derek. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, the time of giving is upon us again, but
the time of taking.
The time of taking is also here, no? So this is an appropriate topic to discuss. It's already November, and
right.
And I think maybe we can ask Chief Inspector Tiranya. Do you feel, or do you see, or you observe that the crime rate is going up now with regards to theft and robbery?
We know that the Christmas season, the people will come into Manila, and the people will have their money, bonuses, the 13-month pay, and so it is expected that they will go to the malls and the markets, so our snatchers and robbers may come.
Chief Inspector Tiranya, in your experience, are there really yung parang areas that are prone to more thefts or more robberies, especially with the Christmas season coming around? So, for instance, do you observe that there are more reported thefts in areas where there are changgis or public markets or the Divisoria, for instance?
Yes, of course. Influx of people, they will be coming around. So our snatchers, yung mga snatchers natin, mga hold-uppers will also take opportunity.
Normally sa mga, anong areas po yun normally?
Usually nga, we have the Divisoria area,
Divisoria,
Baclaran.
Saan maskip and
Yes,
and
opo. Kung saan po maraming tao,
maraming tao,
andyan po ang oportunidad para magnakaw or manamantala yung ating mga kababayan.
Attorney Frederick,
Yes, Derek na lang.
Derek, what's the important distinction? I mean, why do we even have to clarify to our viewers na merong difference between theft and robbery?
Well, it all it has something to do with the kind of penalty that is imposed, and also to distinguish between crimes that have violence and crimes that do not have violence. So, ang theft are the kinds of crimes that walang violence or intimidation. Dito naman sa robbery, ito yung may karahasan at pananakot. So, that is the important distinction between the two. And it is important to know the difference between the two because the penalties are also different. For the two crimes.
Obviously, for robbery would probably
of course,
be higher.
robbery has a higher range of penalties to it because of the criminal propensity na nakikita mo doon sa mga tao. If they're already willing to use violence to be able to commit their crimes, mas mabigat yung binaparusa ng batas doon.
Now, what do you qualify as violence or force? For example, the typical crime is pickpocketing,
right?
And I'm in the MRT. I'm a thief, and I'll just pick it up like that. I didn't employ any violence or I didn't intimidate the person or use any force. Pag ganon, ano yung usual crime?
Well, minus any sort of violence, like what you said a while ago, that you're just without that person knowing, you pick his pocket. So in that case, that would be a simple case of theft, no?
Yeah.
Because there was no violence, there was no intimidation, there was no force that was used by the malefactor or by the criminal, no? Unlike pag robbery, yung panunutok or pagsaslash, because there's that has already the element of violence because of yung paggagamit ng patalim para sirain yung bag, meron ng robbery doon.
What if hindi naman necessarily slashing the bag, pero sinira, for instance, yung specific, yung lock or yung opening dun sa bag?
The moment that the receptacle or the bag in this case has already been destroyed, then it transcends from being theft to already robbery.
And this applies as well to, for instance, in the office, if someone steals and breaks open the lock in your drawer, that's already,
of course, that would be
robbery.
a case of robbery already. It's not like you have something lying on your desk and somebody picks it up and walks away with it. That would just be theft. But if that person already destroys the lock in your desk and takes your phone or whatever from it, that would already be robbery.
And Attorney Derek,
Yes,
if the report is wrong, for instance, you reported that it's a theft instead of a robbery, and the complaint is filed, what would be the consequence?
Well, ultimately, the fiscal or yung prosecutor upon whom the complaint is filed will read on the basis of what the facts of the case as found in the complaint are in coming up with what the probable cause, what case the probable cause exists to file. No? So kumbaga, kung dito, on the basis of what happened in the case, malinaw naman na robbery ang nangyari, kahit na theft ang pagkakakala nung nagrereklamo, the case of robbery will be the one that would be filed by the prosecutor.
Okay. Now, Chief, I have a question. No? Again, if you're in a crowded place, pag nasa Divisoria ka, or let's say MRT or whatever, there are two things can happen. One is, kunyari, pag pickpocket. No? One is that, uy, nawala yung wallet ko, and di mo na alam kung sino ang nakakuha. And two, occasionally, mahuli mo siya, no? And syempre, you'll apprehend him, no? So, in those circumstances, anong kailangan gawin ng ating mga televiewers? First, yung one, na-notice mo lang na nawawala yung wallet mo. Ano yung kailangan nilang gawin? And secondly, my second question is, kunyari, kung nahuli nga, caught in the act. First question muna.
So first question natin, if ever na bigla na lang niyang naramdaman, wala na yung wallet niya or yung pera niya, the person should immediately report to the police station.
Nearest police station.
Yes.
And for instance, if you're inside a mall, where are the closest police stations? Sa security muna.
And we have deployed also personnel sa mga malls natin kasi especially ngayong holiday season, so may mga police assistance desk po tayo sa mga malls.
But importanteng i-report yun.
Yes, it is important.
And you can also report to the security guards,
Yes,
and they can
yes.
assist you to go to the police.
Opo.
And bakit kailangan i-report yun? Why is it important na, I guess, blotter ba yung tawag doon?
Yes,
Why is it important para sa mga viewers natin na kailangan i-report?
if ever, kasi usually yung mga wallets natin, hindi lang naman pera ang laman yan. We have important IDs, yung mga ano. So, if ever that somebody will be able to find it and return it, at least we have a record.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, kung na nawawala nga.
Yes.
Okay.
And can I add to that? Of course, when you notice that your item is missing and somebody's walking away with it, and there are people naman around, you can effect what is called a citizen's arrest anyway, because a crime has been committed in your presence. And even without the law enforcers there, meron naman yung ina-apprehend siya ng mga ibang tao na para pagdating ng mga pulis, pwede nang mahuli doon tao to na dali na sa presinto.
Okay.
Kasi mamaya, paalis pa lang yung tao, alam mo naman kung sino, tapos maghahanap ka pa ng pulis, nandyan na rin naman yung tao.
So you can do a citizen's arrest.
Yes,
Citizen's arrest.
And then what if you see someone being pickpocketed in front of you? You're in a
Nakikita
transit,
mo.
you're
You
in a
can
bazaar.
still commit that.
You can
You can still
also be
perform
the
this.
one arresting.
Of course, of course. You don't have to be the victim.
Now,
to
pag
do
ganun,
it.
pag nakuha mo siya, ano yung una mong kailangan gawin?
Well,
Dalhin sa police ba? Or,
Okay, since we are inside the mall, diba, yung situation, you can ask assistance first from the security guards because they have to record it inside the mall, and then they will call the police for assistance and do the necessary things. We have the IRF now at the police station, so yung incident reporting natin ngayon. So we are on the process of computerizing all the
yung forms.
case.
Para hindi na kailangan na. Okay.
That's very helpful information.
Yes.
And of course, we still have a lot to discuss, but for now, we'll have to take a short break. Legal Help Desk will return after these messages.
Christmas is the busiest season for all Filipinos. It is the one holiday that everyone spends months preparing for, flocking to malls, grocery stores, and markets, shopping for decors, gifts, and food. Because of this, many opportunists take advantage of their busy mindset.
Ang laging number one sa listing natin, when it comes to street crimes, number one dyan yung salisi. Yan, kasi napakadaling gawin, di ba? Sa sobrang busy ng tao, no? Kasi nga, minsan naghahabol, meron tayo minsan Christmas rush, di ba? Naghahabol yun, nakakalimutan nila, nasasalisihan sila. And then, sumunod sa listing natin ng salisi, yan, yung dukot, tapos yung snatching.
The Philippine National Police has come up with safety tips for the public to prevent being a victim of such criminal activities. Keep your wallets in a safe place and keep your bags close to your body. Avoid carrying large amounts of money and wearing expensive jewelry when commuting. Avoid buying anything in sidewalks as it might attract pickpockets who now know where you keep your wallet. When bargain shopping, never go with a stranger to get the bargained item. You may get robbed once you're both alone. Do not walk between parked cars in parking lots. Avoid walking alone in unlit areas. And when waiting for buses, jeepneys, or taxi cabs, do it in well-lighted areas. When riding a taxi cab, take the habit of getting the name of the cab, the driver, and the plate number, and text these to a friend or family member. If you are going to carry so many things, take a cab home instead of riding a bus or jeepney. Check the cab well before getting off. Keep these in mind the next time you do your Christmas shopping or when commuting.
You're still watching Legal Help Desk on 9TV with our guests, Chief Inspector Lerma Tirania and Attorney Frederick Wu. Kanina, before the commercial break, we were discussing this incident report, which can be done electronically, but you still have to go to a police station.
Yes.
But maybe, Chief Inspector Lerma, you can tell the viewers out there why it's even important to still give an incident report. Because normally, for a lot of people, pag feeling nila wala, hindi na mahanap yung phone ko or yung wallet ko, then they don't even bother to make a report. What's important about having an incident report?
It is important for them kasi kailangan namin ito para ma-plot namin sa aming records kung saan nagaganap yung kalimitan ng mga robberies and snatching. So ito yung magiging reference namin para mag-deploy kami ng more personnel para mabantayan at masiguro natin na ligtas yung ating community.
Okay, so very important yun. No?
Yes.
Now, I want to ask, no, the general, I guess, elements being provided for when it comes to theft and robbery. Kasi as we know, crimes as defined, normally may elements yan. And for example, if your intention, Attorney Derek, is just to borrow, I see a computer, I really need to send an email, I'll borrow it first, I'll borrow and use it, and I kept it a couple of days or perhaps even a few hours with an intent to return. But technically ba, did I commit theft?
Well, as long once you've removed it, ang presumption dyan is if it's not yours and you've taken it from where it is, there's a presumption that you've intended to gain. No, if it it's without permission, the gain being the use of it, no.
So
and
so even if there was intent for me to return it,
sure, because how can you parang try to find out what goes on in the mind of a person once na nakuha na yan? Like, for example, when somebody commits a robbery, the person can say naman that I'm going to give back these items later on. But you've already committed the crime at that point.
So we have to be careful. We have to tell our televiewers, we have to be careful sa mga situation like that.
Yeah,
technically,
Or at least magpaalam ka talaga.
Yes,
Because
yes.
Sex.
paalam ka,
Yeah,
diba?
you can always notify the owner. Tell them what your intentions are.
And I have another question. What if you find something that's not yours? Kunwari nakapulot ka ng kahit phone case or kahit wallet ng isang tao, tapos hindi mo na talaga mahanap and then you kept it.
Well,
Is that considered theft?
Yes, that would still be considered theft as long as you do not return it to at least I think it's a barangay captain or it's a person in authority that you're supposed to return these items to, because you know for a fact that it is not yours.
Chief Inspector Lerma, is this something that can be done with police stations? If you find something that was lost, na nakita, napulot mo lang, do you have a desk that will take care of accepting lost items?
Yeah, we can accept those things naman. Kasi usually naman po, yung mga nawawalan natin na kababayan, they go to the police station. So normally talaga, tinatanggap naman yan doon. And as well as sa mga barangay.
And you safekeep it. You
for
safekeep
safekeeping
it.
also.
Yeah, it's recorded. All right. We have some questions from our televiewers. Marshall asks, how will I know if I'm already a victim of qualified theft? Ayan. In the case of online banking, what security measures should I practice? At the same time, what are the security measures that banks are doing to ensure the safety and privacy of their clients? So first things first, no? I
Paano
think
niyo malalaman?
paano niyo malaman if she has been a victim of qualified theft?
Well,
Derek?
yeah. Well, first of all, if it's online banking, the bank naman, the money that you deposit to a bank, it's not the same money that you withdraw from it.
Yes.
So in other words, if theft was committed upon your account, the money that you had deposited in a bank, that does not necessarily mean that the bank cannot give you back a different kind of
bill. Or
yeah. So umaga, hindi naman pwedeng sabihin na qualified theft. Si Marshall, yung nangyari sa kanya because hindi naman niya pinagkatiwala yung pera niya doon sa online banking, doon sa tao, no? That means that he did not give
There's no position of trust.
Right.
Involved.
Oo.
Okay.
So kumbaga, and if there's somebody that can sue for qualified theft, it would be the bank itself as against its employees kung mag-commit ng ganyan laban sa kanila.
Or any hacker, for instance.
Any hacker, correct, no? So in other words, if you invest an amount of money, place an amount of money in the bank, it's guaranteed by the bank anyway. So,
Pero yan ba, is it falls under the revised penal code, or is there a special law regarding online bank? Let's say you hack on someone's account.
Well, there's the violation of the E-Commerce Act. That would be applicable already. Perhaps a cybercrime law that would be applicable na rin.
Okay. So,
We have another question from Vanji. Let's watch this.
Mga modus operandi na ginagawa ng mga magnanakaw ngayon.
Something that
Maganda yan.
Chief
Modus
Inspector
operandi.
Lerma can
ano bang
answer.
ano bang mga gimmick nila ngayon?
So So, ngayon, uso pa rin siyempre yung mga tutok kalawit natin.
Tutok kalawit.
Yeah, tutok kalawit, yung mga laglag barya, mga dugo-dugo.
Pwede bang explain isa-isa yan,
ano yung tutok
ma'am?
kalawit?
Okay, so minsan inaakbayan.
Oh,
Tapos tututukan. So,
tutok
that's
kalawit.
it.
What's sorry, before you move on to the next modus operandi, ano yung smartest way to handle that? Kasi kung nakatutok na sa'yo, should you even scream for help or bigay mo na lang? Oo.
Okay, sabi nga, life over property, di ba? Kung wala ka na talagang chance or wala ka ng choice, kundi, kasi parang nakatutok na talaga sa'yo, it's your life, di ba? So,
Might as well, no?
keep calm, ibigay mo yung hinihingi niya, halimbawa, yung pera mo or yung wallet mo. So, save your life pa rin tayo.
Okay, alright. Ano pa yung...
And isa yung
And then later on, aside from that, to add lang, keep calm kasi tandaan mo kung ano yung itsura nung umakbay sa'yo. So that right after that, you can report to the police station para kung halimbawang may record na siya doon, she or he can easily identify the person.
Yun. Okay, so yung laglag barya naman, ano yung...
Okay, laglag barya. Somebody will drop the coin.
Coins?
So sa atin kasing mga Pilipino, usually pag nakakita tayo ng barya sa baba,
You pick it up.
pick it up. So, habang
Nag-pick up ka
nagpipick ka, sasamantalahin naman yun nung mga ano natin.
Yung wallet.
Your wallet or something from you. Kung bukas ang bag mo, makukuha yan eh.
Isa pa napansin ko yung
Yes.
mga binabangga ka lagi. Is that also a modus operandi? Like, lalo pag masikip, babanggain ka, yung pala may kinuha
Pero
na.
usually, there are group of people na gumagawa niya. Yung isa babangga sa'yo, and the other one will get your
Okay.
wallet.
All right. You have to be careful, no?
Yes.
Now, our next question is from Mina. I live in a dormitory and shared a room with a new girl. I kept my things, like my tablet, laptop, inside a locked cabinet. When I returned from work, I found the room empty. The girl and her things were gone, and my locked cabinet was forcibly opened. I asked the landlord about the whereabouts of the new tenant, but they didn't know what the girl, or they didn't know that the girl had left, or her contact information. Can the landlord be held liable for this act of thievery? They didn't put any CCTV cameras around the dormitory. Ayan. So, but I think, well, hindi niya na mahanap yung roommate niya. Ayan, ngayon, binibintang niya yung landlord.
Well, first things first, no? This is not theft. This is robbery. Because there was force upon the receptacle here, the container, which is in this case the cabinet. No?
Okay.
Secondly, this is a case of lease of a certain property, and in that case, the landlord cannot be held liable for things that happen inside the leased premises. Ano? The installation naman of CCTVs is not required of a landlord. So, kumbaga, the proper case, the thing that you should do is file a case for robbery against the roommate,
Robbery.
and the landlord cannot be held liable for that.
Okay, very helpful information so far. For now, we'll have to take another short break. Legal Help Desk will return, so stay tuned. You're still tuned in to Legal Help Desk on 9TV with our guests, Chief Inspector Lerma Tiranya and Attorney Frederick Lu.
All right. So, now, we'll have to qualify certain situations, no? Kasi minsan, people tend to say, oh, ninakawan niya ako. Paano ba ako ninakawan? And normally, kasi sinabi niya na mag-invest ako dito or
yung pala fake yung business or walang
fake business, tapos tinakbuhan niya ako, ninakawan niya ako. So, is that technically theft or robbery?
Actually, it's neither. No?
Yeah.
It is estafa or other deceits. No?
Okay. So the moment nagkaroon na ng deceit and then may intent to gain,
right?
That's estafa na.
Yeah. Or if you ask a person to buy something,
buy something, tapos,
or invest in something, and what he does is he converts it and he appropriates it for himself. That could qualify as another form of estafa also.
So anytime may deceit, no? So
Yes,
yun yung qualification doon. So ladies and gentlemen, yung mga viewers, no? So pag the moment nagkaroon ng deceit, hindi na theft and robbery yun. Yan, estafa.
Another question I have would be kasambahay. So for instance, if you have a kasambahay na kumuha ng item from you, even if it's food or damit na nawala, of course, or little amounts of money, kahit 50 pesos lang yun or 100 pesos. What kind of complaint can you file against your kasambahay?
That would qualify as qualified theft.
Regardless of the amount?
Yeah, because as a kasambahay, these items are placed under their joint care. No? Kung may mga kasambahay ka. So kung may mawawala dyan sa mga items na yan, and that is placed in their care, and it's with abuse of the confidence that you have reposed upon them as your help in the house, then that would qualify as qualified theft.
If that happens, what's the best way to report a theft na qualified theft? Yung kasambahay mo, driver mo, or even your own employee in an office?
Well, the first thing,
or I guess the Chief Inspector Tirania can answer this question. Sa barangay ba sila pupunta or police station?
Usually sa barangay muna. But normally, pinafile po, dinadala ito sa police station. Yes, kasi hindi natin may iwasan, there are syndicates na kung halimbawa nagnakaw or malaking amount. So, we have to do that.
Oo. I guess we have to distinguish here kasi obviously, pag kasambahay mo siya, nakatira kayo sa parehong bahay, parehong city or municipality, it would be subject to the
Barangay.
katarungan pang barangay. So, kailangan nilang dalhin sa barangay kasi yun yung mandatory procedure. But if it becomes, if malaki yung amount or merong sinira na lock, for instance, at naging robbery na siya,
it should be to the police station.
Police station na. Okay. So very important for our viewers to know the distinction na if it's either a big amount, let's say 10,000 pesos worth of item, TV or whatever, and then or pag may sinirang lock, kahit maliit lang amount, it becomes robbery, then they should go directly to the police station because hindi siya subject to the jurisdiction of the barangay.
Now, may mga qualifiers tayo in terms of robbery, no? And I think the law provides kung 3 or more, or if it's committed by a band. Attorney Derek, you might want to clarify this. No? Kung if it's committed by a band, even if there's no force, intimidation, or violence, if it's committed by by a band, and first of all, let's define what that means. And then secondly, what will happen to all three? Or
right.
all four?
When you say a band, it's not the playing band. It's it's
Eraserheads might or Parokya ni Edgar might steal.
Right. It's 3 or more armed malefactors. Malefactors. That means people who are up to no good. No malefactors. So
3 or more.
3 or more. And
What is this qualifier? Ano yung result nito pag may 3 or more armed?
Well, it functions as a robbery, and there is an additional penalty that is attached to it. Precisely because the intimidation becomes greater because of the presence of more than one person armed with a weapon.
Pero pag 2 lang, hindi pa robbery by band.
Hindi siya banned, pero baka pumasok na yung mga aggravating circumstance, pero masyado nang complex yun.
All right, okay. Now, when it comes to stealing of, let's say, ito stealing pa rin pero a different item, no? Let's say a car or a vehicle.
Right.
Yan ba does it still fall under robbery?
Most people just call it carnapping.
Right.
Is that theft or robbery?
Is that theft or robbery? Or let's say, for example, bukas yung kotse, nakita ko yung susi, walang force intimidation, I open the car and I enter and I drive away with the car. Let's say walang force, I didn't nakabukas yung kotse mo, naka-on, di ba? Let's say minsan you had to drop off something lang and then nakabukas yung kotse mo, then you run away with the car or you drive away with the car. Ano yung technically yung crime doon? Carnapping. Okay. So special law.
Yes. If ever naman, kung halimbawa naman na motorcycle naman. Theft.
So we have a distinction here. If it's a car, it's carnapping. But if it's a motorcycle, then it's theft.
Okay. All right. We still have some questions from our viewers. Tupe is asking, my wife was robbed and stabbed by 3 men. One of them was caught and gave the names and aliases of his 2 companions. How can we file for a warrant of arrest for the 2? How can this case be closed if only one of the perpetrators are behind bars? So, Attorney Derek?
Yeah, well, first of all, the fact that hindi pa naalam yung dalawang yung hindi pa niya alam yung dalawang identity ng ibang gumawa nito should not deter them from relying on the police to try to apprehend them pa rin. Because even in spite of the fact that the two have not yet been caught, they can be subsequently caught man by the police. No? So next thing that they should do is file a case for robbery and attempted murder or frustrated murder, depending on kung ano yung sinaksak noong mga magnanakaw yung asawa niya, no. Also you have to also take a look at the police work that is being done to be able to ascertain the identities of the two people. Pag nakita naman niya yung pagkakakilanlan nito mga to, there's a mugshot or a sketch that can be done by the police. So the case can only be considered closed if the necessary charges have been filed and the people have already been arrested and made to stand trial.
Chief Inspector Lerma, how effective is the police in terms of finding criminals na pag nag-report ng crime?
Okay, may mga specific kasi may mga talagang nakatask tayo to do that na mag-pursue ng hunt dito sa ating mga criminals natin.
So yung batting average mataas naman. So it really pays to report a crime.
Yes. Okay. Kasi wala pong mangyayari kung hindi sila mag-report, di ba? Hindi natin masosolusyonan.
Our next question is from Anton. How can I file a case for qualified theft? I'm a store owner and found out that one of my employees has been stealing from me. He is in charge of handling the vault as well as depositing the day's sales. The total amount that he stole was 60,000 pesos. I have the summary of undeposited sales, a copy of the bank passbook, cash register machine readings, a notebook indicating the amount of cash they counted after store hours, and a contract signed by him of his responsibilities as my evidence. Is this enough? Can I file a case against him? Talagang marami siyang records sa kinid.
Yes. Well, he's gathered plenty of evidence on his behalf and in support of his case, and I think that it's pretty strong. If he should file a case before the office of the city prosecutor of the city where he is, or the municipal prosecutor's office if he happens to live in a town or a municipality. He will execute what is called a complaint affidavit that will include yung laman ng mga reklamo niya, yung pangyayari, and attach thereto the evidences that he has against that erring employee, yung gumawa, no? He should attach the evidences that he mentioned, like the receipts or the time record, or whatnot, to be able to show that in fact it was his employee and no other that could have committed the qualified theft. This is, in fact, clearly a case of qualified theft.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So we have another question, and this time it's from Mercy.
Paano naghahanda yung mga kapulisan natin laban sa magnanakaw sa nalalapit na Pasko?
Ayan. Paano naghahanda ang ating kapulisan? Ma'am Tiranya?
Yes, as of now, kasi katatapos lang natin ang undas, ang next naman natin is ang holiday season, which is Christmas and the New Year. So ngayon pa lang, nagbaba na ng maraming kapulisan sa ating mga police station para ma-increase natin yung police presence. Kasi dapat maramdaman ng taong bayan na nandiyan ang mga police so that they will feel safe. And,
are you adding more personnel sa kapulisan, or are you just deploying more, or like overtime ba yung mga ibang members of the police force? Paano nyo ino-augment, or paano kayo nagdadagdag?
Considering heightened alert.
Just recently, the national headquarters, nagbaba po sila ng almost 200 personnel para po mag-augment sa police presence within Metro Manila. Katatapos lang po nun, and then yung po mga police trainees namin undergoing the field training program, they were also downloaded or deployed in the different districts of Metro Manila para po madagdagan yung police presence natin.
Thank you for clarifying that. It at least makes me feel more secure and safe. I have another question from Attorney Derek.
Yes.
You mentioned kanina we have a viewer who apparently had a lot of evidence against his employee for qualified theft. But what if you have, for instance, yun, kasambahay and you just know na nawala yung gamit mo, is it enough to just give your statement?
Yes. It it's more than enough supposed to be kasi you would not make a statement naman unless the law, there's a presumption that you would not make statements unless they were true, no? Kaya in this case, kahit na wala naman kayong ebidensya, for example, you have a watch and it gets lost, and the last person that you know could have taken it is the help in the house, no? You would not have any other person or witness there at that time, or no, you don't have CCTV footage naman in the house, pero your positive assertion should be enough naman talaga.
Okay. Thank you for that
very
helpful information.
Yeah.
So I hope that our viewers out there learned a lot from this episode, lalo na yung mga mag-Christmas shopping out there, or yun doon naman sa mga bahay, or if you have employees and you always keep a lot of valuables or money. I hope the tips from our guests here, Attorney Derek and Chief Inspector Lerma, were very helpful. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. We want to steal more time from you, but unfortunately, we don't have any more time.
Kaya ka pa sa mga,
with intent to gain.
Mo ha, parang pinag-isipan mo talaga yung mga lines
to gain
mo
today. With intent to gain knowledge.
Okay, very clever.
For our televiewers, yes.
But thank you again, and I really hope that our viewers will stay safe and keep secure this Christmas season. Legal Help Desk will return after this short break. Welcome back to Legal Help Desk on 9TV. And today we had a very interesting topic, considering that Christmas season is
it's so sad, no?
A few weeks away.
Yeah, don't you think that's sad?
Mga bazaars are here again.
Oh, it's sad in a sense that it's a festive season, but at the same time you have a lot of people who
take advantage
of the situation, or maybe because of hardships, they're parang, I guess, forced to steal or compelled to steal. Of course, we don't walang justification in stealing, of course.
But today's episode is very helpful as well, because again, the risk of thefts and robberies is all year round. It's not just this Christmas season. Apart from the fact that it is kind of heightened during the Christmas season because of all the bazaars and all the Christmas rush, this is a threat that is year round then, because you have, of course, even if you in your own home, sa mga kasambahays or employees, it can happen, especially if the temptation is there. So some tips we learned today to make sure that things are secure would be, make sure that, one, you hire people you can really trust. But second, if you're traveling or if you're shopping, then be alert and be watchful. So kanina we had some tips on how to make sure that you are secure. So try to avoid yung mga modus operandi na in-enumerate kanina ni Chief Inspector Lerma. Katulad ng mga nalaglag na coins, ignore it.
Yeah.
Oo, huwag kang makipag-agawan.
Laglag barya.
And then, of course, a very helpful tip today, even if you think that there's no hope in finding an item that has been stolen from you, like for instance, a phone or a wallet in a crowded area and you didn't even see who stole it from you, it still pays to go to the nearest police station and report the incident. Because through these incidents, the PNP marks yung mga areas where there are a lot of incident reports, and they deploy more police in that area.
Yes, and of course, in this episode, we wanted to clarify the difference between theft and robbery, no? So, and it's important to differentiate that because the penalties are different. When it comes to robbery, may involvement of force, intimidation, and violence. So, for example, may slash yung bag nyo, or let's say snatching, yan, considered robbery yon. And when you file a complaint, the appropriate case should be robbery and not theft. Theft is usually yung pickpocket nga, yung walang force or intimidation or violence, kinuha lang from your back pocket, o kaya naman nasa desk mo lang, or nasa drawer mo lang and it's not locked. They didn't destroy any lock. Kinuha from your desk or your area. And yun ang theft, no? And then, but of course, there's also what you call qualified theft. And very important din yan kasi ang qualified theft, on occasion, pag it reaches a certain amount, 200,000, no? Nagiging non-bailable yung offense na yan. So if you steal something that's beyond 200,000, if it's non-bailable, mahirap kayo, you have to justify being able to post bail, no? So so it's quite important to learn these things and to keep these things in mind. Also, if pag niloko lang kayo and someone gets something from you because of that panloloko, it's not theft or robbery, it's estafa na.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to clarify all those things.
And another important factor here, that's why we need to distinguish, is the katarungan pambarangay, which is a required procedure with your barangay. So for instance, if it's your kasambahay who stole from you or your neighbor, obviously you live in the same city or municipality, then you can't just directly file a criminal case against your neighbor, for instance. You have to undergo katarungan pambarangay proceedings. But then, if it is robbery, meaning merong finorce open yung door, or may sinira para makuha yung item from you, kunwari sinira yung lock or yung drawer, then that becomes robbery. And because of the penalty, which is higher, then it does not have to undergo barangay proceedings. You go directly to the office of the prosecutor and you can file a criminal case for robbery.
All right, well said. Now, over the week, we have received some questions and comments from our viewers. Christina is asking, I've been separated from my husband for 20 years. We haven't spoken or seen each other since, and I don't know where he is now. Can I file for an annulment? How much will I be spending for this? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think the bad news here is that you can't automatically file for annulment because, again, our grounds for annulment is only one, it's psychological incapacity. So yung matagal na absence or separation ninyo, if for instance it was your husband that went away, it can be considered as abandonment. But abandonment can only be a ground for legal separation. So that's very different from annulment, because annulment basically you can remarry again, but with legal separation you cannot. So, but then this absence or separation for a long, long time may be an indication that either you or your husband or both of you are psychologically incapacitated. So one, you have to see a lawyer so to have your case assessed. And second, you need a psychological report to assess if either of you or both of you are psychologically incapacitated. And
another way to go about it is also if there are certain disappearances and there are certain elements that you have to fulfill, no? But if there are certain elements that you are able to fulfill and you're able to declare him as or presumptive death, diba? Presumed dead. Yung wala na talagang you try your best to contact but wala talaga, and there are some disappearances where you can actually when a certain time has lapsed, you can actually have a presumption of death. In which case, then there's no need for annulment, and you can get married when you have that order, no. But of course, that's an extreme case. Based on your email or your letter, it seems that you know that your husband is still alive, no.
And the cost can vary depending on the type of lawyer you hire. So merong iba na mahal talaga na lawyers, but then you can also find well-priced lawyers, or even go to Office of the Legal Aid if you don't have enough money for a lawyer.
But to qualify though, if there is psychological incapacity, even if the husband is absent, pwedeng matumuloy yung case.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, another question from Lynn. My friend's wife was charged with making a fraudulent deed of sale for a lot she already owned. She is a teacher and was arrested in front of her students. There was no barangay hearing. She was denied investigation, preliminary hearing, and the judge set a court date for the actual trial. I know that this is not the right course. Is it possible that she can file a counter affidavit and give her due process? Yes, that's very unusual actually, because this is a denial of due process.
Yeah.
So
dapat may warrant of arrest to begin with if you're going to be arrested. And it didn't seem like she was performing
in the first place, dapat
a crime.
nagkaroon ng preliminary investigation, which she should have received a subpoena for. So even before magkaroon ng warrant of arrest. So it's highly unusual na bigla na lang siya inaresto unless she was getting the subpoena and was ignoring it, then that's another case. But if there was really no preliminary investigation, then she can actually have the case dismissed for lack of due process.
Yeah, highly irregular yon, and definitely she has the right, no, to file even a countersuit for that, no, against the authorities, administrative case perhaps. No? All right, from Twitter, a Twitter user, Den, am I due for a full refund for a delayed RFO? Of a condominium unit for 2 years. I have yet to receive any advice from the development company. Okay. RFO it means
Right for occupancy.
right. Okay, right for occupancy. All right. So so 2 years. 2 years
Yes.
na delay yung right
Yeah.
for occupancy.
But in this case, it depends what the pre-selling stipulates. Because, again, if there's really a delay in the turnover of a unit, of a condominium unit, then it can amount to a substantial breach, in which case, you, Del, will be entitled to a rescission of your contract of sale, and then you can get a full refund from the developer. But that's assuming na nakalagay doon sa pre-selling na it's due for a turnover in a year
Particular time, yeah.
or a year and a half.
So it's a substantive breach. No?
Substantial breach. But what you can do, Del, is go first to the HLURB, to the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, and file a complaint against this developer because they have a mediation process there. So at least at this point, you don't have to spend for a lawyer yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we have from Asia, and she wrote us this comment. I'm a big fan of your show. It has been great resource of civilians. Please do keep it up.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Asia.
you, Asia. That's very
Yeah,
encouraging.
nice name. We're a big fan of your name, Asia. That's a good name. All right.
But thank you so much for that feedback.
All right, thank you. And that's all the time that we have for tonight. We'd like to thank our viewers who sent, and the viewers who keep on sending us legal questions, our viewers, via social media. I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno.
And I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. If you have any questions about our topic for tonight, you may post these on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Join us again next Monday as we discuss your legal rights. Good night.
Up now with regards to theft and robbery.
We know that the Christmas season, the people will come into Manila, and the people will have their money, bonuses, the 13-month pay, and so it is expected that they will go to the malls and the markets, so our snatchers and robbers may come.
Chief Inspector Tirania, in your experience, are there really yung parang areas that are prone to more thefts or more robberies, especially with the Christmas season coming around? So, for instance, do you observe that there are more reported thefts in areas where there are changgis or public markets or the Divisoria, for instance?
Yes, of course, influx of people, they will be coming around. So our snatchers, yung mga snatchers natin, mga hold-uppers will also take opportunity.
Normally sa mga, anong areas po yun normally?
Usually nga, we have the Divisoria area,
Divisoria,
Baclaran.
Saan maskip and
Yes, opo. Kung saan po maraming tao, andyan po ang oportunidad para magnakaw or manamantala yung ating mga kababayan.
Attorney Frederick,
What is theft and robbery? How should people protect themselves from these criminal activities? What can they do if they've become a victim?
Good evening. You are watching Legal Help Desk on 9TV. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight we'll discuss your legal rights on the subject of theft and robbery, what you need to know about these criminal activities and how to protect yourself against it, especially with the holiday season coming.
Our guests for tonight are Chief Inspector Lerma Tirania, Public Information Officer of the NCRPO, and Attorney Frederick Lu, Managing Partner of Lu, Mamangun, and Huco Law Office. Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Chief Inspector Tirania and Attorney Derek. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, the time of giving is upon us again, but
And the time of taking
the
as
time of
well.
taking is also here, no? So this is an appropriate topic to discuss. It's already November, and
Right.
and I think maybe we can ask Chief Inspector Tiranya. Do you feel, or do you see, or you observe that the
Crime
crime
rate is
rates
really-
going
Derek na lang.
Derek, what's the important distinction? I mean, why do we even have to clarify to our viewers na merong difference between theft and robbery?
Well, it all has something to do with the kind of penalty that is imposed, and also to distinguish between crimes that have violence and crimes that do not have violence. So ang theft are the kinds of crimes that walang violence or intimidation. Dito naman sa robbery, ito yung may karahasan at pananakot. So that is the important distinction between the two, and it is important to know the difference between the two because the penalties are also different. For the two crimes.
Obviously for robbery it would probably
Of course,
be
the
higher.
robbery has a higher range of penalties to it because of the criminal propensity na nakikita mo sa mga tao. If they're already willing to use violence to be able to commit their crimes, mas mabigat yung binaparusa ng batas doon. Natural.
Now, what do you qualify as violence or force? For example, the typical crime is pickpocketing,
Right.
And I'm in the MRT. I'm a thief, and I'll just pick it up like that. I didn't employ any violence or I didn't intimidate the person or use any force. Pag ganon, ano yung usual crime?
Well, minus any sort of violence, like what you said a while ago, that you're just without that person knowing you.
And mugging. While robbery is the taking of anything valuable from another person with force or violence. The common kinds of robbery are hold up and stick up.
Pag kami nagreklamo sa istasyon, pinasasamahan natin muna ng pulisyan. Bago namin i-blatter, sinasamahan muna ng pulis. We're doing agad the follow-up operation. Baka nandiyan pa sa area, no? Hindi katulad dati, kinakausap siya, tumatagal, tsaka alis. Ngayon, yung baliktad. Pagka nagpunta ka, bago ka namin nasikasuhin, papalo upin muna namin. Isasama ka namin, tapos pupuntahan natin yung crime scene. Tapos doon, we're doing follow-up operation, investigation on the field na kagad.
In 2010, the National Statistics Office reported a crime rate of 319 per 100,000 population. Crimes against population were at 118,943. Robbery was at 36,121, while theft was at 72,947. Now that it's 2014, what is the present crime rate and volume in the country? And what is the PNP doing to minimize the number of theft and robbery incidents?
The police cannot be everywhere, di ba? That security and safety is a shared responsibility. Kailangan on your own part, meron din kayong dapat gampanan para ma-secure nyo rin yung sarili nyo. Kailangan maging vigilant ka lagi, di ba? Always observative in your area.
Christmas in the Philippines is the longest holiday season than any other country in the world. Unfortunately, this joyful celebration has become synonymous to the rise of crime rate, especially theft and robbery.
Pagka talagang pumasok itong bare months na to, we expect na medyo yung street crimes, di ba? Ano yung street crimes? The robbery, the theft, yan. Medyo umi-spike pataas, no? Kasi inspected, di ba? The people needs money. Ano yung mga pinanlalaban natin dun nga, yung reinvigorated anti-criminality campaign. Itong holiday season na to, no? We triple down our men on the ground.
There has been some confusion as to the usage of theft and robbery. Theft is defined as any action that involves the taking of any kind of property from another without their knowledge. Theft includes acts such as embezzlement, fraud, shoplifting, looting,